What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with SPY and Tesla and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about something very important for SPY, which is going to affect the whole market, and that includes Tesla. I'm going to break down why it's very important to watch what I'm about to say, because this could be huge for Tesla and the other stocks out there. Before I break anything down, let me just mention a few things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget about the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you are guaranteed 20 free stocks. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. SPY did something very interesting. So when we look at SPY, let's actually close all of these lines. Notice how we had this top right here from not last week, but from Monday. And we got this big drop as we approached CPI. So we got this rug pull, we came all the way down. Our top was at 403.5. We came all the way down, made a V-shaped recovery, and where did we top at? 403.3. So it is possible that a lot of these market makers noticed that institutions were going to be taking profits right at 403.5, and they kind of like stopped it just early to stop that from happening. But notice how we have kind of like a double top here. This looks just like a double top, right? This top, we hit 403, got this big rejection. We hit 403 again. Now we're kind of rejecting again. So this is a very, very tough resistance. Did we push more? We did push more, but now intraday the market is starting to turn. We came down, we tried to bounce, and this bounce ended up failing. We came right back up to almost 503 again before we came right back down. So at this 503 area, which is where SPY formed this top, the question is, how is this thing going to move as time goes on? I want to warn everyone that we had what appeared to be kind of like a diamond top reversal like structure. It's very similar to this, it's not necessarily the same. And this does suggest that there could be some more potential downside coming, but there are different things you could actually interpret on the chart. So if we're forming this top, like a diamond top, you could see them side by side. This is what they could look like. And this could be a little concerning, right? You have this high right here. We made this low. We come back up to the upper resistance. Then we just consolidate a bit before we start to sell off. So there is a risk that we're going to be forming a top, especially because we already hit this top before. We got a rejection the last time we hit 403. Today we hit 403, and now we're starting to reject again. So you want to be very careful. Now, I also want to add a couple of points. So there's no guarantee that SPY is just going to collapse from here. The market's about to collapse. Nothing's guaranteed just yet, because there's also the possibility that we're going to come down like this, right? And this could be forming like a cup and handle like structure, and we just make our way back up, right? That's another possibility. Now, how do you know if it's going to be forming a cup and handle or if we're about to get a big rug pull? And the answer is you have to watch your levels. I want to make this as clear as possible. Always watch your levels. Always chart and always look at your levels. SPY, in my opinion, we're clearly rejecting off 503. We rejected once, we're rejecting again, which suggests we could be downtrending, and this might not just be a cup and handle. All right, but here's the thing. If SPY were to reject, we have to see it lose 498. And if we lose that, there's going to be 496. Now, we could come all the way down there, and this will make it less likely that there is some kind of like cup and handle. We have an imbalance at 496.8. If we lose all of that, our last point of hope is going to be 494, because if we close below 494, that's when we turn really bearish. That's when SPY is going to get a rug pull. Okay, so I want to call out the levels in advance and let you know that we could be in a topping formation for a temporary pullback. Uh, there is a risk of it on the chart, but I'm not saying SPY will pull back. I'm saying that there's a risk of it looking at the current technicals and the current pattern. And the way to kind of like gain confidence in what we're going to do is to watch your levels. Always watch your levels. This could be a topping formation, and there is a risk of us dropping, but we have to see it lose more of these levels to turn more bearish, such as 498. We haven't really lost that yet. We're also not that far from 500, so we'll see if we close above 500 or below it, and we'll just be very patient with this one. But please know the risks. It is possible we're forming a cup and handle. Looks a little bit less likely, but it is a possibility. But it's also possible that we're forming a top and we're about to see a bigger drop next week. The best thing to do is watch your levels and be very patient. What does this mean for Tesla? What does this mean for Tesla? Well, for SPY, we have a bunch of puts expiring. We have over 3 million puts expiring now, and we have just under 520,000 520,000 calls expiring. So 2.26 put to call ratio at 485 being max pain for SPY. The market makers are fine. Okay, they're fine. If SPY closed at 500, 505, they're fine. If it closed at 498, they're going to be fine. It's still because the majority of the puts are out of the money. So it doesn't really matter where SPY closes as long as it's like very close to where we are right now. They're fine. So that's the reason why it doesn't really matter as much. I just wanted to call that out. So for Tesla, as SPY started dropping, Tesla came downwards, just shuffling around 200. We'll see if Tesla closes above or below 200. Now, Tesla tried to push this morning. We reached 205. We came just short of my first target of 207 to fill the gap. So it is still possible Tesla pushes next week, but we have to be a little bit careful because of SPY. I want to give you guys a warning about that. So we have a left shoulder here on Tesla. We have a head, and then we have a right shoulder forming right here. To be bullish, we need to see Tesla basically hold this next week, get back above 200, and try to break this high up here, which Tesla could still do. The pattern is still there. Tesla's still in a decent place. Why is Tesla in a decent place? Because yesterday, Tesla was actually at 191, 192. We're still at 199, so it's still holding up nicely. If the market gets some kind of bounce, I still could see Tesla push, but Tesla, in my opinion, needs some kind of news catalyst to really push up to fill that gap. So I'll be watching for that going into next week. In my opinion, I'm not really a big bear or big bull on Tesla right now. I'm just going to be following the pattern, and the pattern is still technically bullish because if you look at Tesla, it's been on this nice uptrend, but this could change if Tesla begins to reverse its market structure because of SPY. So basically, Tesla's on an uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now it tried to break out here. It's just consolidating in this range. Next week, let's see if we can try to break this high. We have to break this high for Tesla to have hope for this inverse head and shoulders to play out quickly. If not, it could be delayed by a long shot, and we could get a little pullback. Okay, so we have to try to break above 202 and then 205 next week. Early next week, we got to do it. If we fail to do it, Tesla could get dragged down thanks to SPY. There's going to be a risk of that now. Now, I said in my previous video Tesla could pump. It did pump. We reached 205. We actually broke out pretty hard today in the morning. It also pumped to 202 again. That's higher than where we were yesterday. So it did pump, but near the end of the day, that's when Tesla started to turn, and that's something I couldn't really call yesterday. So it is what it is. Now Tesla's just consolidating. We'll see where it closes, but make sure you keep this in your mind at least going into next week. Now, just let me just go over a couple more real quick. The QQQ is looking weaker than SPY. I do have a concern about the QQQ. So look at the trend. We made this high here. We've been making higher highs and higher lows from this point. You guys can see this QQQ has been trending up, 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 up. And then right here, this high held just under 440. We got this big rejection. We pushed back up, but we failed to break the high, which could be an indication that the QQQ is about to downtrend. We just made this new low, a lower low. This could be a lower high. Next week, we'll be watching, can the QQQ get a comeback and try to break above this high at 437.5? If we do so, there is hope it could uptrend more. But that's quite a distance away now. And if we fail to do so, it's going to be downtrending, and this chart's going to turn bearish. So the QQQ is showing weakness compared to SPY, and there is going to be a risk of it coming down. So I want everyone to be careful. This could slow Tesla down too. Tesla tried to push; it came close to 207, came just under that today, and I want to be very careful with Tesla now because of the QQQ. So just be careful. Tesla could get some news and could still break out next week, but be careful thanks to that. For Nvda is showing a little bit of weakness, but look at this range we had. The cup and handle formation failed, and we've been getting rejected between very, very much just the low 740s, and we're getting these nice bounces off the 725 area. If we lose 725, there's going to be a risk of a little bit more downside, and that could slow the triple Q down. That could slow the market down. Be careful with NVIDIA. We have this range. It's been range bound for 3 days. We'll see which way it breaks. If it loses 725 or closes below that, we turn bearish. If we could close above 740, we're really bullish. And right now we're barely at 726, so it is favoring the bears a little bit more. So just be careful with NVIDIA. I'm just gonna wait and see how it does. Just wait for close. And finally, we have Apple stock. Apple is still trying to base at 182, but it's still showing some weakness. You guys can see it's been very weak. We will see if we could hold 182 going into next week. If we could hold it, there is going to be hope for this thing to form a double bottom and make its way right back up. If it fails to hold that support, expect more downside. So be very careful with Apple. I wanted to give you guys a warning about that. But with that being said, thank you all so much for listening. As far as Tesla goes, I'm sorry, guys. Tesla did come very close to our 207 target, but it came just short of 20. It came short by reaching 205. Could Tesla push more? It still could push more. We still have the inverse head and shoulders. It is still very possible for Tesla to break out, but now Tesla's in a critical place where it has to break these highs. It has to start uptrending going into next week for this to quickly play out. Because if it fails to do so, things could go south for Tesla just temporarily. And the reason I say that is because SPY, the QQQ, their algorithms could dictate Tesla. That's the truth. People don't may not know about that, but they could dictate Tesla. The market is run by robots, by algorithms. So please be careful with Tesla. We're going to be watching it next week. I want to give you guys a warning. Let's see where this thing closes. I think it's very close to close. Can we close above 200 or not? We'll just wait and see. All right, guys. With that being said, thank you for listening. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. Let's hope Tesla holds 200 and we still get a little pop next week when we try to break these resistance levels. And I'm just hoping for the best. So take care, guys. Do what you have to do. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and peace out.